Welcome to episode of 185 of Fourth and Jawn. I am Gail Saunders here with Evan Hollywood Hurd and Jimmy Smith. We're doing a random party, random drop watch party. Little reaction. It's that part of the season where people want to be entertained. So we were like, you know what? Jimmy Kempski has inspired us to go and watch the drops from 2020. He was a gem to the Eagles community. As always, he compiled a video and wrote an article about the Eagles drops. Did a little analysis, but we're gonna just we haven't even together as a group even watched this video. It's just a live reaction of the drops and kind of just a quick analysis from what we're seeing. We're not here to blame Carson. We're here to blame some of the wide receivers, some of the running backs, maybe a Miles Sanders. Like we're just looking at the tape. Obviously, it's great to watch some tape. But Evan, Jimmy, have you guys been watching any tape this offseason?
I have been. I've been sitting here preparing, getting ready for the draft, watching all of our Talk to Prospects, trying to figure out more about these college guys, trying to figure out who's going to be a future Eagle. But, what's one thing that we love to do here in Philadelphia? What is something that we all, after a game day, after especially a bad game, one thing that we just live for? It's pointing the finger. We love fucking pointing the finger. We love placing blame, and that's exactly what we're here to do tonight. We're placing the blame on that shitty season that we just had. We're gonna dig to the bottom, see if it was really all Carson, or if there was really, it's a drop is a drop for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've definitely been watching a lot of tape. I do my daily videos and try to put out as much content as I possibly can through these tough times. I like what Evan said, though. Right now we're not looking to exactly just put it all on Carson, but we're looking at this team as a whole, because believe it or not, a lot of these guys are still here, and a lot of these guys we're going to look at, are still on this team. So I'm excited to watch this tape with you guys. So thanks for having me, and thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm excited for this. Let's bash the hell out of them.
Man, you guys get your popcorn? Your popcorn ready?
I think Jerome said it right. You should probably buckle up for this one, because it's not going to be a highlight reel that we're looking at here. We are looking at the lowlights.
Ooh, Eagles 2020 drops. Nice title, Jimmy Kempski.
Yes, thank you again, Jimmy Kempski, for compiling this all for us.
Yeah, can you guys see that on your end?
I can. Right. Let's start at week 1. That's where I feel like the first drop occurred. I feel like that'd be a good spot to start. Well, what do you know? First quarter.
Oh, and who was that one on?
You have to go back on that.
Oh, he's getting a lot of pressure there.
Was that Goddard there, I believe?
Yeah, it's Goddard.
Goddard through the hands.
He's got to catch that.
Yeah, that one is on Goddard. I am over here. I'm keeping a tally. I got the receivers, the QB, Wentz, and Hurts. So we're going to see who's at fault.
Okay. We're on the second
First one is on Goddard.
For sure.
Yep.
Oh, that's Hightower.
That's a drop on him, too.
Hightower, he's one of those guys that I feel like he was very limited in his opportunities this year, and didn't always make the most of them. There was way too many John Hightower drops for as many opportunities he had this year.
That was definitely concentration, rookie jitters, but he definitely had drops during the season. But yeah, definitely rookie jitters there. First game.
That one's also on Hightower.
It looks like he gets a little scared there. It slows up a little bit. You got to run right through that, man. You got to catch that and keep going.
So Carson Wentz is back here in an empty set here. No pressure on this
5-hour show.
It's
a little ahead of him.
Drop. You see, that is something that we were not really privy to prior to this year, and that was Zach. Yeah, but once that contract controversy came up, all of a sudden Zach's hands just kind of fell apart.
Yeah, that was definitely on Zach. It's a little ahead, but someone that's as reliable as him, he's got to catch that.
Absolutely. And that last one that just happened, was that Greg Ward on the sideline there?
Yeah,
another little glance at that.
So that's game 1. all those drops were pretty much on the players on that one. Can you say that?
Yeah,
I
would
wouldn't
agree
even say.
entirely.
Yeah, that Greg Ward one. I mean, he's looking for the ball to be placed on the backside there because you see that the defender's coming. So I mean, he's expecting that throw there. People could say it's behind him, but that's not the case there. And he just clearly drops it. So I don't think any of them were on Wentz there.
Yeah, first 4 drops of the season was receiver error.
If I could have seen more time on that third play, I believe it was. I don't know if Carson needed to rush that throw necessarily. Where Wentz
This is going to be a 5-hour show then, huh?
I was dying when I saw that.
Yeah,
it might be, guy. Let's see. We do have time for all the drops. This is 4 minutes, guys. So we're not saying that the interceptions weren't Carson's fault, but the drops week 1 were the players' fault.
Yeah, it was all receivers.
Week 2 against the Rams, Carson Wentz a little high, my guy. A little high.
And look at the coverage there. He's throwing into triple coverage.
But he's got to throw it high there, I think, to avoid those defenders. And, you know, that's on the receiver, Goddard, I believe.
I don't think he should have ever released that ball.
No, probably not. But if he's going to, that's where he needed to put it. I mean.
Yeah.
But he should have thrown it a little lower.
Who's at the top of the screen? Is that Ertz at the top of the screen?
Look at this.
There?
Look where the ball's
like he's open.
That throw could have been a little higher, lower. We call this.
It's a little too high.
I'm calling that a Wentz fault there, guys. I'm looking at the triple coverage. I understand the ball's a little bit high. I know he has to put it high. I'm simply saying I don't think that ball should have been thrown. So I'm putting that.
No, I'm with you on that if it's going to be thrown. But I'm under the same impression, dude. I hold receivers, anybody accountable to the point where if you're in the NFL, you got to catch that damn thing if it's touching your hands. And Carson, we're going to probably blame a lot of these on horrible throws. So
yeah, it's true.
Hey, he touched his hands and he should have caught it, but should have been a better thrown ball there. For sure.
All right, so where do we stand there? I need to make a tally here. So I am voting Carson on that one. Where's the votes on your guys' end? Is that Carson's fault or is that Goddard's fault?
Well, I'm gonna say Goddard has to catch that, but still,
Jimmy, you're the tiebreaker.
I feel like I agree with you because that's like it's got 2 votes on that play for Wentz there because it's a crap throw, and then it's a pretty high throw at the same time. So maybe let's blame one on Wentz for once. Let's all right. Let's mark it down.
Trust me, it won't be for once.
Yeah, how about it?
What about that one?
That's a little behind him on the ball placement, but once again,
it's one of those balls that need to be placed there because if you look at the middle of the field, the defenders pretty much have it locked down. So then you got 2 defenders to the inside. He has to go outside on that ball.
So why don't we just put it this, like if it's Wentz's total fault, but just if it's kind of questionable, it could be chalked up to ball placement.
Mm-hmm.
So you put that tally as a ball placement.
Okay.
So it was a bad throw. It needed to be placed there, but it wasn't exactly perfectly placed.
Wouldn't ball placement be on the quarterback though?
Yeah.
I think that's J.J. Arcega-Whiteside's fault. He's got to catch it there.
Still got to catch it
because it's not like he's reaching really far, you know.
But just put an asterisk. Ball placement.
Okay.
All right.
So we're going to go 1 asterisk there. Asterisks are ball placements. Okay.
You got to watch where you're placing your balls, kid.
For sure. That one's 100% on Miles Sanders right there.
Look, ball placement.
Needs to be placed on the outside, but that's pretty far on the outside.
On that second angle, that ball wasn't really placed.
He's wide open.
You got hit.
Yeah,
you got it again. Miles got it. He touched it. Should have caught it, but asterisk ball placement.
Yeah, man, for sure.
All right.
She sort of kind of wants his fault.
We're sorry. We're not here to bash Wentz. We're just clearing that up. Right, we're trying to see our team.
That's
rough.
That one's about as obvious as this is going to get.
I mean, and the thing is,
that's all on Hightower. The ball is in the perfect spot it's supposed to be. Hits him right in the breadbasket, and he dropped it. That's the definition of a drop right there.
And that's 2 games in a row for anyone watching with a drop from Hightower.
Incorrect. That was in the Baltimore game. So that.
No, I mean, it was the Washington game.
Yeah.
And this is the 2nd game in a row.
No, that deep ball you just showed, that was versus Baltimore, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he had one against the Rams.
Oh, yeah. What am I watching? I thought it was an order, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's actually further down the season. This is week 6 now.
Toss it in there.
All right.
Hey, it's just like this
that one's
season.
on Hightower entirely.
Yep.
Now we're back in order. There's a Rams.
Now we're back in order.
Jimmy, if you need any help with editing or graphics.
Yeah, this one's all on Deshaun. He couldn't be more wide open in that scenario.
But this is a fucking screen here. It's got to be.
But like, was the ball in a bad place though? It hit him.
Quez Watkins has the same play, and he does a spin move and takes it.
If you're running the screen,
it shouldn't have been on the right side of his body. I agree.
Front side to the left.
Yeah, no, he should have let him for sure. But there's no reason that ball should have been dropped.
Let's see this pass rush here.
That wasn't far extended from his body. He threw it at his body, just the wrong part of it.
I don't know if Carson even sets his feet really here. I think maybe he's afraid of that pressure, so maybe that's at fault for.
I'm gonna write that down as wide receiver fault and another asterisk for bad placement.
Ball placement.
Yep.
Sean had a couple this year, even though he only played a couple games.
Mm-hmm.
That's on Deshaun.
Another Deshaun.
Well, there you go.
Let's see here.
That's Deshaun.
Yeah, that's 100% on Deshaun. Put the ball where it was supposed to be, but didn't come up with the catch.
Now, for you listeners on the podcast, hopefully you're having a great time listening to us talk about the drops. We're doing something different tonight. Just a relaxing evening with the guys, watching balls being dropped.
That's where we're at, guys.
That's 100% on Ertz.
Yeah, it's a little bit ahead of him, but he's got to catch it. I'm going to say that for every single one, though, because these are drops. You know what I mean? And if it's going to be considered a drop, that's something that's on the receiver in their mind. So that's mostly what we're seeing here. But we're trying to analyze here, guys. So I think this is great, to actually look at everything other than just the drop.
That, to me, looks like bad ball placement. He's throwing that at his knees. It's not a far throw.
That's another bad ball.
He's got to lead him.
10-yard throw.
That's a touchdown for Miles Sanders.
Yeah. And look at Miles Sanders' body language after the play. It's like, dude,
look at his body language in all of this. You know what I mean?
All right, so that's on Wentz.
We're not running
the Steelers. Out to the flats. Another drop by Miles Sanders.
That looked like another bad ball placement, man.
Yeah,
they were just not on the same page last year.
Yeah.
His first year, he had 50 catches for like 500 some yards, like 10.7 yards per catch. And then last year, he only had like 28 catches, 4 less games, but he had like 197 yards.
Where
7-yard average catching, I think. Ugh.
So this is the same play that
out of order. Yep.
Had to show us again.
Oh, that's a bad drop by.
The sun might be in his eyes on that one. He loses it.
Oh no. Here's a play to
Miles
Sanders.
There's no sun tally, so I'm gonna have to place that in Miles' camp there.
That's right, you got to catch that.
Pretty atrocious.
I mean,
and I totally get it if the sun was in his eyes, but
I don't give a damn. That's what your little black visor's for.
Yeah.
Man, that's ugly. That's just a bad drop, dude. By Ertz.
Yeah.
And again.
But that looked again like that ball could have been placed better.
But that's
drop on Ward.
That's a bad drop by Ward. This is now we're on the Cowboys game here.
Mm-hmm.
1st and 10, screen pass, but ball placement seems to be
a little high for a short guy, but he's still, once again, you got to catch that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's on Clement.
Oh, this one, I remember this one, Rager dropping it.
It's a drop on Rager.
That's his one drop this season, and he's got to catch that too, but he hears footsteps, right? Concentration.
That's a concentration drop, for sure.
Need him to work on that this year, and I think they definitely will. Moorhead, I can't wait to see what they do with him.
It's a third. All right, it's a 3rd and 1.
That one went pretty quick for me. I didn't get to see that.
Usually Mr. Dependable.
That's a drop by Goddard. 3rd and 1.
Our tight ends.
Yeah. That's on him. And Goddard's a guy that we spoke highly of. I mean, me and Jimmy on his podcast just recently, we discussed like moving beyond Ertz and whether Goddard and Richard Rodgers, guys like that, maybe picking up a 3rd tight end if we can move on beyond Ertz. Yeah, it's kind of disheartening to see a few Goddard drops here that are that egregious.
Yo, you got the comments, my guy, right?
Yeah.
Spicy in the chat.
Oh yeah,
Who's getting spicy?
Because I'm actually watching this from YouTube. I mean, the whole point of this is like going back and watching and seeing where the culprits are. And then you're seeing it down and distance, and you're like, all right, 3rd and 11 here against the Giants.
Well, Deshay's calling it right there. I mean, he's not setting his feet, and a lot of that's on this rush. Obviously, you see these guys are getting to him pretty quick.
That's
throwing at the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 11. First of all, that's your first mistake there, Carson.
but
Yeah, but that was on the receiver. It was on the receiver, but just not where he should have went with it.
we're talking about drops.
We're talking about
Oh my Lord!
Miles.
All right, it's 2nd and 10. A little screenplay to Miles and another concentration drop. Wow. We're on a 3rd and 10. We're against the Giants still. That's a freaking drop by Fulgham, dude. I mean, that's
a drop.
That's a drop.
It's a drop.
Fulgham was very pissed on that play. 1st and 10.
You got to place that ball in there on that one.
We have Miles Sanders wide open in the flats, right through the hands of Miles Sanders.
That couldn't be more on Miles Sanders.
It's against the Seattle.
Seattle, I got a deal.
It's a drop, but it's
placement drop.
It's where it's got to go. That's where the ball's got to go.
Yeah, that is where it has to be.
Yeah, that's a drop.
Jeffrey drops that.
Alshon, you're a fucking veteran in the league, man. You got to catch that.
Oh my Lord,
dude, that bounced off his chest plate. That's a drop.
Miles is definitely the biggest culprit.
For the listeners out there, going through this section right here is the Miles Sanders drop zone. Here we are, 1st and 10. Carson Wentz. He's got trips left. Oof. Who is that?
Ex-Packer. Dick Rod.
Hightower.
Or no, that was Hightower. I thought that was Dick Rod.
Hightower. Another drop, dude.
Yep.
We have 11 personnel here. 2nd and 10. Hurts is in the game. First throw. Oh, and
I was going to say we're about to get there.
Dude. Fulgham, another drop. That was a bad drop, dude. We're here at 1st and 10 versus the Cowboys.
No more blaming Wentz.
2nd quarter, 14-13. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, this is why we need a wide receiver 1, I think, is the biggest thing I'm taking from this. And I love Rager, but Jamar Chase would be great.
Who dropped that one? That was Ertz.
Ertz?
Yeah.
Ertz.
Yeah, it's an Ertz drop.
It was not Ertz's season this year.
No. That's why when I was telling you, Gail, I wish we could get like a 3rd
it's
one,
actually
but I really don't know if we
was able to get that ball out, and then Ertz just dropped it.
He made some.
It was a bad placed ball, but that's still
first
fault.
1st and 10 versus Washington. Hurts is rolling out of the pocket. Throws back across the field, and that is a drop by Wes
Miles
Watkins.
Sanders. Oh, was that Quez
Watkins?
Watkins?
You got to catch that, man.
Wes Watkins. So big. First of all, big shout out to Jimmy Kempski for compiling that, and sometimes you have to like watch the ugliness and learn from it.
Here's the final tally that I got here. I've got I got the receivers in one column, and that includes wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs. I got the QBs in two columns, Wentz and Hurts. I've got 24 drops at the fault of the wide receivers. 3 of those were bad placed balls by Wentz. 1 of them was a badly placed ball by Hurts. And I have 2 drops that are all Carson Wentz's fault in that video. And I've got no drops that are Jalen Hurts' fault. And that is my final tally. And the one thing that really, seeing those all back to back, yeah, the ball placement ones, there was 4 ball placement drops. 3 of them were Wentz's fault. 1 of them was Hurts' fault. Yeah, but
this is Jimmy Kempski's tally here. If you want to, Jimmy Kempski has 7 drops from Miles Sanders.
That's what I was just going to get at. Look at that. The percent of catchable passes that were dropped, he dropped to 20%. Even though that doesn't
Zach Ertz, 12.2%.
Not everyone can be a Kroom.
23. But if you got players actually like, I don't know, 1 drop is too many as a wide receiver. You sit here and I could go back to all the drops that I've ever had and be like, oh, makes you cringe. These guys are probably looking at this tape and like, man, can you believe it?
Yeah, I really couldn't believe all the guys that were sure-handed guys, the Ertzes of the world, the Dallas Goederts, Alshon Jeffrey. I mean, he was an elite player at one point in the league. And just to see all these guys dropping the ball, man, it really contributed to an awful season.
I think a lot of it comes down to, what we talked about throughout the season, no accountability. So you could see it just spreading throughout everything. People are dropping easy catches. And, dude, this team was a shipwreck last year. So I'm excited for the change. I know it's scary, the unknown, but I'm just excited for something different.
Well, I think you talk about it being contagious. Like, you start watching players drop the ball. Like, when you see other wide receivers drop the balls, you're like, and you're just like, wow, it gets contagious. And some of those drops, those look like a lot of concentration drops. I feel like the team wasn't on the same page. They looked like they're going through the motions. And the thing that like a lot of us don't really, we're not remembering that these guys are in a pandemic state. You know what I mean? Like, what does
that have to do with catching the ball?
No, but I'm being serious. Like I'm saying like we're living our everyday lives, right, in this pandemic, right? And we're bitching about like certain situations where mentally we're not there, right? So some of these football players, I don't think they're mentally there. I mean, they're there on the field, but like it looks like a lot of going through the motions out there.
I hear you. But here's my point. Let's now look at it like a job, right? So like if you were to say to your boss, like, hey, sorry, I can't like pull up the same workload that I used to be able to do. My head's just not right because of COVID. What are they gonna say? They're gonna say, figure it out.
I've said it.
Well, I think the thing is that this is a time where we needed to use technology, and this is where a guy like Carson Wentz needed to reach out to these players via Zoom, via whatever way he could. And that was one of the big things where I think COVID definitely had a big part in messing our team up, because maybe it would have been hard for him in the locker room, but his ass definitely wasn't doing it at home. He was shooting a duck in the face. He wasn't really worried about calling up any of these receivers. So we talked about the disconnect.
Well, I mean, these guys are already practicing, right? So it's not like COVID to me. It's a factor, but like if you guys are already on the practice field together, put in that extra time and work on your guys' timing. Like that was what was needed.
That's what Jalen was doing, right?
Exactly. And that's something that it seemed like Wentz, there was just things that came out that it didn't seem like he was really willing to go that extra mile, work with these younger receivers and just get on the same page, get up to speed with them. And it was evident. I mean, that the timing just wasn't there. And my point is, if you're already at the practice field, put in an extra 2 hours.
It sounds easier said than done. Like, and I really feel like if this team had an off season, OTAs, You know, they got their timing down together. You could just tell that their timing.
Other teams had their timing down.
I know, but I'm not talking about. I'm talking about this team. We've seen this team look way different. So, like looking at them now, it's like, you know what I mean. You're like, it looks like they didn't get it together.
Yeah.
Like they have in the past. Like Miles Sanders and Carson Wentz together. Like, yo, what were you? They looked totally off on different pages. So. That shit was depressing, though. That shit was like watching.
Yeah, we want to apologize to the entire Delaware Rally, everyone that checked in here. Sorry if we brought the mood down. This was supposed to be a party, and we just totally pooped all over it.
I think the positive you could take is what Luke is mentioning here, what we talked about while we were talking about the numbers. Jalen Reagor, 1 drop. Everybody, he sucks. Just imagine if we had another weapon, whether that's Chase or Smith or Pitts or whatever. I think Reagor is going to continue to grow. They're actually going to utilize him. But one of the other things that you saw with those numbers was Boston Scott with 0 drops. And also Richard Rodgers. I'd like to see him brought back. But you saw Boston Scott tendered on that exclusive rights free agent contract. No brainer there. I think everyone's, really hard on him. We talked about this last year. We need RB2. But Boston Scott, as that pass catching back in that Nyheim Hines role, that he played with the Colts. Boston Scott, I think perfect. You got to build on those kind of guys, and I think I'm glad to see those 2 on the team.
Absolutely.
You know what? I'd like to actually see a lot better blocking from our running backs. I think, those guys that you mentioned, they're not the, I'd like to see better blocking from our 2 and 3 running backs. Like they had issues blocking. But I think, again, that's an very important part. Picking up blitzes, the way that Carson Wentz was like, people were throwing the house at Carson Wentz, and I feel like if they had a better job chipping on the edges on some of these routes here, and just making a more of a priority, especially the way Wentz was getting torn up. But overall, dude, that was painful. That was painful.
Yes,
and that's ever so more important that we get a household, like having a household name at wide receiver. Like, I mean, how do you feel, when you had a Larry Fitzgerald playing for your team, or like a Julio Jones,
or when I had Terrell Owens playing for my team, dude.
I was gonna say when I can buy a jersey and be excited, yeah.
But when you have a player like that, if you have a dynamic quarterback and a explosive wide receiver, like that is just entertaining football right there.
With a great running back.
Yeah, exactly. So like those are the pieces. And you look historically, to play devil's advocate, I mean, do teams that win Super Bowls really have those elite wide receivers all the time? It's not often. You look at a more well-rounded team.
I think the well-rounded
there's that happy balance between not having drops and having an elite wide receiver.
I'm just saying that there's a certain amount of swagger when you have a top dog in town. Like, remember when we had like Macklin and Djax?
Yeah,
they were like flying all over the field, like,
and Jason Avant even.
Yep.
In Avant, but it was just like it was a threat, like having a threat on the outside. And I feel like if Reagor is utilized properly, we get another dog in here. Travis Fulgham, you have to be more consistent. I think you have to get more opportunities, and your team has to trust you a little bit more. There's still something weird going on in that situation between
Travis Fulgham
and what happened. Like, I know what Alshon, they were trying to get him on the field, but still there was I felt like there was a little disconnect there. Doug Peterson mentioned in a
there was, but that was a different
conference.
Coaching staff, though. That was a different coaching staff. Like,
I think he was dealing with a foot injury too, a little bit, but it wasn't anything to place blame on. But
yeah, but he kind of called him out in a press conference. I remember, like he was pressing or something like that, and I feel like something was like, I if I was Fulgham, I'd be like, dude, I'd be pissed. I'm like, yo, why aren't you throwing me the rock? Why am I being phased out of the offense? I would be pissed too if I was him. So, Leighton has a question over here. Mm-hmm. Says, you guys think Frank will be able to fix Wentz? And will he have a good season next year? His mechanics sucked for us last year.
I think if anyone can fix him, it's Frank.
Yeah. I think a lot of what Wentz's sort of problems came from was just the dysfunctionality that he had with the coaching staff, and just they rubbed each other the wrong way. So I think that if Carson is in a building with a coach that actually wants to support him, wants to help him out, I think he's going to be he's going to be easier to work with, but it's just going to he's going to want to try harder. He's going to want to go out there and just prove himself. I mean, he's kind of dug himself in a hole, just in media terms about what everybody around the league thinks of him. And I think he is going to play with a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to have a good coach to help him out. So I think he could definitely have success this year.
Yeah, I think he's in a right situation. I think Frank Reich, maybe the communication's different between Frank Reich and Doug Peterson, and maybe he has a certain vibe with him. Maybe the way his plays are set up. Talk about how successful we were in the first quarter.
Maybe his O-line, as Mark brought up.
Very true.
Having an actual O-line in front of you could do worse.
But when Reich was here, the amount of points they scored in the first quarter versus after he left, night and day. So talking about getting that game plan, that 15 script, the script, maybe the script is better with Frank Reich. I just feel like if it's a better situation for him mentally, maybe we see a different Wentz. But I was willing to go back another season with Wentz and see him work it out with Sirianni. That didn't happen, and here we are. But Mark says Wentz will flourish in Indy, better weapons and O-line play. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I think he definitely will. His offensive line is stacked, and they have some free agents coming up, but they have some really good young pieces. And I think, they've got Michael Pittman. He'll be somebody to grow with there, even though he wouldn't give him his number. I think that these guys are perfect for him because Frank Reich obviously did very well with him his first couple of years. And obviously it was mental for Carson Wentz. There was a lot going on there. You saw it on the field. It was definitely affecting him. He just regressed. And that's crazy to think how good he was. But I think if anyone, he's pretty much, being pampered here, dude. He's getting set up. He got sent to a damn good team that was already a contender. Frank Reich has dealt with 3 different quarterbacks, now going to be his 4th. He went in there thinking he was going to have Andrew Luck, early retirement, which is wild. But now you have more of a similar quarterback. You had Brissett, then you had Phillip Rivers, but now you have Carson Wentz. And I think that's going to really work out well for this team and what he wants to do. They'll run the ball a lot more, establish a run, and allow him to do his play action rolling out. So where, Carson Wentz is best. So I think there's going to be success.
Luke from the top rope with the flying 75% elbow.
Good. Yep.
Luke says, I love Carson, but he's not one of us anymore. Want him to be healthy. That's it.
That's right.
That's my kind of that's my kind of answer right there.
When I got thrashed.
You leave us, you're dead to me. That's right.
Dude. I said it that day. I was like, who gives a shit, man? He's not wearing a green. People are like, and it's like, I didn't trade him. I didn't make this choice. But guess what? He's not an Eagle anymore.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's a ride or die situation. Like I'm normally whoever's my quarterback, I'm gonna ride with and support. Like, I mean, you had those moments. You had Jeff Garcia. You're like, come on. Like
AJ Feely, bro.
Yeah.
Like you have moments in your life when you're rooting for Mark Sanchez. And you're like, do I got to do this? The only guy I didn't really wholeheartedly back by any means was Sam Bradford.
You never backed him? It was the eyes. Was it the eyes or the sleeves?
I didn't trust the eyes.
The eyes freaked me out.
I didn't like him being brought here, but it was.
That's usually a fact with me. The only quarterback I've never really supported was Sam Bradford. Ever.
I felt pretty weird about DeMarco Murray. I never felt like he was truly an Eagle. I did not really like him when he came.
Who?
He still had
DeMarco Murray, the running back.
He still had the Cowboys stench on him.
Exactly.
Everyone. I remember he slid on that play.
Against the Dolphins. I always talk about that play. That's when I knew he was bitch made.
Yeah. Big Jim says Bobby. All right. Any other random quarterbacks? How about the gunslinger?
Kevin Cobb? No.
Nope.
Jim McMahon.
He had the dance. Detmer. I said
Coy and Ty. Yeah.
You said all right. All right.
There's a Coy Detmer autograph in this house.
Nice.
Are you serious?
I have Coys. Yeah.
Swear to God.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you get that one? How'd you get that one?
Well, it was actually stolen from my mom's classroom. Way back in the day, probably in the mid 2000s, my mom's class wrote a bunch of letters to the Eagles players, and they sent back a banner, and Donovan and Coy Detmer signed said banner. And now it's up in my garage.
Your
said
banner.
kid stole it. Man.
Yes.
Damn hooligans.
Shout out to Jimmy. He says we need a draft podcast. I've been in a simulator all week. The plays trade back into the teams. You know, Jimmy, I've been doing the same thing. I'd like to know where you're going in the draft. I've been looking at cornerbacks. I've looked back, traded back, and took, Pitts later. I've done some soul searching, but I'm all about getting that second pick. But we will be doing some more draft podcasts
For sure.
Look at Luke. Luke, me and Luke need to be doing a Kyle Pitts video sometime. Call me. We'll get together. Luke's been on the Kyle Pitts train for a long time. Lee says, how about Doug not saying anything when Brett Favre crapped on Carson?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of was a very weird moment this season for me, because even if Doug Peterson agreed with what Brett had to say, you can't, as the head coach, openly say that, and you have to denounce it. You have to be like, hey, listen, Carson's our guy. He's the man. He has to build up Carson. Carson obviously already had a confidence problem, and that did not help at all.
Nope.
Mark Bird, his random quarterback, Rodney Pete.
Hey, I threw the rod in there.
I like it. I like that. And his wife, Holly.
Yep.
What's her last name?
What was that show?
Well, it's Holly Pete now. 21 Jump Street. Bang. Great show.
That's not what I'm thinking of.
Big Jim says that was the beginning and the end.
Yep.
Will has another question. He says, who is our QB2 at the moment?
No one. Sudfeld's a free agent, so.
Yeah.
Imagine Fitzmagic comes here.
I said I'd be about it. As a backup, I'd be about Fitzmagic.
Tyrod, Jacoby.
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor. And there's talks about Mariota. I don't know about that. Shout out to Lori's. Hello. How are you?
You bring in Mariota, then you're going to have every single person start Mariota.
Yeah.
Best quarterback ever.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't beat
Big
out
Jim
their
says
car.
Pitts for Hurts. Big Jim wants Pitts for Hurts. If you're going to get weapons in here, I think it's a great idea. If you're going to start building around Hurts, great idea.
I think it's fair to say, though, if we do end up going with Pitts in the draft, that's pretty much the writing on the wall for Ertz, right?
I think he'll be gone before that.
It's the writing on the wall was when he was sitting on that bench with Carson and Jason Kelsey, dude.
Okay.
I think he'll get traded here within the next couple of weeks. I hope. Get something for him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Pitts would be awesome, dude. You know that we're going to put an emphasis on the tight end position.
Brister.
Yeah, Jersey Boys random quarterback Bubby Brister. That's the forgettable one, man. That's a forgettable name.
How? I don't even know who that is.
Are you serious?
Dude, I'm 26 years old. Bubby Brister sounds like he was born in 1920.
It's true.
He's like,
I only know because of my dad, to be honest with you.
You don't know who Bubby Brister is?
Get your shit together.
This guy's not an NFL historian. Get him out of here. Put Evan in the bathroom. He's over here drinking vino over there. What are you drinking over there?
Dino's.
Water.
Okay.
Some of that high quality H2O.
I remember Dino's.
It's funny because sometimes Evan is, if you guys have ever been around Evan, he's always singing 80s songs. And I kind of think that I'm hanging out with an older dude. And then he's like, I used to work at this rock radio station, 80s hits. And I'm like, how the hell you know this song, dude? You're talking about the last time we beat the Browns, you weren't alive. He was 1 year old or some shit. And I'm like, dude, how old are you?
Yeah. Just love me some Lauren Brannigan, bro.
Jeff says that's a violation, my guy.
Put him in the bathroom.
Mark says Bubby was a hustler. Bubby Bristol was a hustler. Hey, what about Jim McMahon as an Eagle?
I brought up the headband, dude. That was I was a young man.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him.
Do you know who Jim McMahon is?
Me?
Evan?
I'm familiar with the name. I mean, I haven't seen any of his play. I'm way more familiar with the Vince McMahon era.
Oh,
85.
No,
85 Bears.
Huh?
85 Bears.
Yeah, I was negative.
I know.
All those bear videos you see with the dude with the headband and the ridiculous mullet, that's Jim McMahon, dude. They're cool.
No. I thought you were talking about Eagles players, bro.
Yeah.
He played for the Eagles at one point.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In his older days.
This guy, put him in the back.
This fucking guy.
Luke says, hold out on drafting a QB. Class is decent next year. If Wentz doesn't play well, we'll have 2 first. I like that idea, well, just in theory, but from their standpoint and QB Factory in the back of their mindset, I could see them sticking with their guns with Hurts. If you hold any stock in what Merrill Reese says, he said there's no chance the Eagles draft a quarterback at number 6.
Yo, how fantastic would it be if we're talking about ultimate irony if the Colts end up drafting a quarterback in the first round?
Trey Lance.
or they pick up Nick Foles to back them up. Hey man, their Bible study, hey man, their Bible study must be fucking fire though. Like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You got like Nick Foles is religious, he's religious. Like, yo man, turn the fucking Romans 3:23.
We're throwing the Old Testament down.
For all quarterbacks have sinned. You know. That would be amazing. I don't know, man. I mean, we're gonna start getting into some more live stream stuff. It is draft season. It is draft season. It will start picking up earlier. I don't know if you guys have been checking out some of our Talk to Prospects. We're gonna be looking at players that we think that are great. Hopefully, the Eagles think they're great as well. Some really good fits. We have another video coming out tomorrow on Caleb Farley, the top cornerback in the draft. One on Surtain. So it'll be interesting. Any last words before we get out of here? Did you?
No, I think this was just a good powwow. I think it was good to talk to the people. It was good to just kind of relive and rehash that awful season that we just lived through. And I mean, all I can see right now is that we're at the bottom. We can only go up from here. So I'm feeling confident with the Nick Sirianni regime.
Yeah, you don't get through it pushing it aside. You get through it by going right through it. That's what we just did. I thank you all for tuning in with us and going through that. Thanks for having me on, guys. And of course, go Birds.
Go.
One last question before we get out of here. Aaron says, "What's your Mariota take going to the Birds?"
Would I take Mariota? Nah.
I'm good. You can probably get more money somewhere.
Yeah.
You guys are legit, dude. Hating on Mariota.
I mean, what would Mariota's price tag really be? That's kind of where I'm isn't he going to be a little bit more pricey for a backup?
More pricey than the bottom barrel guys, and we don't have the most money. He brings too much controversy, I think.
That's what I mean. I think that we just kind of we go and address that elsewhere with a Fitzmagic, with a guy that's not going to be a threat. We've dealt with this for years now. I know Carson's a different person than Jalen, so I don't know how Jalen's going to react. But like, why just keep going down the quarterback controversy train? Let's ride. Let's just ride with the guy.
Yeah, I feel that. And again, we're gonna leave on a positive note. With some positivity from our QB1, Jalen Hurts, with some words for the people. And we'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, fly, Eagles fly. And here is our QB1. Jalen Hurts.
Day 15,000 of the quarantine. I don't know, and I pray that y'all are staying at home, practicing social distancing. You gotta find a way, baby. Positivity. Y'all go get it.
Go get it. The Birds.